In 2019, a Princeton University simulation predicted a limited nuclear exchange between India and Pakistan could kill 125 million people in the first week. And that was before fallout, famine, and firestorms were considered. India, a rising power of 1.4 billion souls, with thriving megacities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, and Chennai, becomes ground zero. Strategic command posts, military installations, financial arteries, obliterated. Skies once streaked with jet trails now choke with radioactive ash. Estimated direct destruction, $1.5 to $3.5 trillion, gone in a flash of light and heat. Infrastructure vaporized, civilization unplugged. Pakistan, with its dense constellation of military and government targets, Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore, Rawalpindi, Multan, reduced to char and ruin. Command chains severed, national coherence shattered. Direct losses, $250 to $500 billion. But the true devastation lies beyond buildings and bridges. India's economy, a $4 trillion engine, would hemorrhage up to 50% of its GDP, falling into a decade-long recession, $2 trillion lost each year, possibly permanently. Pakistan, with a $400 billion GDP, faces near-total economic collapse, a shrinkage of up to 80%, losing nearly $320 billion annually. Foreign aid becomes its only oxygen. Cities like Karachi and Lahore, once humming with life, become ghost capitals. Rebuilding even 5 of these cities would cost 5 to 8 times their GDP contributions. In India, $2 to $4 trillion. In Pakistan, $300 to $600 billion. But some things can't be rebuilt. Skilled labor lost, generations displaced, trust evaporated. And then, the global shockwave. Nuclear soot darkens skies across continents. Crop yields drop 10 to 30%. A decade of famine begins. Economies in Asia, Africa, even Europe, crash. World trade halts. Developing nations spiral into recession, losing up to 15% of GDP. This isn't a doomsday fantasy. It's a model based on research from Princeton, the IPPNW, the NBER, and the UN. Total global cost over the next 10 years? Unquantifiable, but conservatively, tens of trillions. One war, 2 nations. The world burns with them. Just imagine that you survived this war and narrating this horrific event to your grandchildren. Son, by the time the sirens screamed through Lahore and Delhi, it was already too late. A spark had turned into fire. The world's 2 most volatile neighbors, armed with nuclear weapons and a legacy of mistrust, had stepped across the line of no return. It started, as it always does, with a border skirmish and an attack, reports of casualties in Kashmir. Accusations flew like missiles. And then, actual missiles followed. Jets screamed across the sky, dropping payloads on military posts and radar installations. Cities from Amritsar to Islamabad were plunged into chaos. The Indian Army, 1.45 million strong, mobilized. Pakistan responded with its 650,000 troops. Air forces from both sides engaged in deadly dogfights. Civilians scrambled for shelter. Already the cost was staggering. Over 10,000 lives lost in the first 72 hours. Hospitals overflowed. The dead lay unburied in no man's land. As international leaders scrambled to de-escalate, the unthinkable emerged. Satellite images spotted Pakistani tactical nuclear weapons being moved to forward positions. India's nuclear triad went on high alert. The doomsday clock ticked closer to midnight. Bombs struck Lahore's oil depots. Mumbai's stock market crashed by 45%. Global investors pulled out. Trade across the Wagah border halted. Crops rotted in Punjab. $100 billion wiped from regional economies. The Indian rupee tanked. Pakistan's power grid flickered under cyber attacks. Refugees poured toward unprotected towns. The world watched in horror. Then came the fires. Burning cities, ports, and oil fields darkened the skies. According to a 2013 study published in Nature, a limited nuclear war between India and Pakistan could release 5 million tons of soot into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight and plunging the Earth into a nuclear autumn. Global temperatures would drop by 1.3 degrees Celsius. Crops would fail, not just in Asia, but in North America and Europe too. Then came the final hour diplomacy triumphed, barely. As a nuclear submarine in the Arabian Sea received its launch codes, a last-minute hotline call between generals held back the flood. But the scars were permanent. 50 million displaced, major cities in ruins, international sanctions crushed recovery, and Kashmir became a silent wasteland. This isn't fiction. Every scenario above is grounded in fact, modeling, or real past skirmishes. From the Kargil War of 1999 to the Balakot airstrikes of 2019, India and Pakistan have flirted with catastrophe more times than the world can afford. When two nuclear powers fight face to face, it's not just their future at stake, but humanity. So next time you hear about conflict, remember this: the real enemy in a nuclear war is humanity itself. So the bottom line is, they could go to war in limited ways, but both governments are well aware that a nuclear conflict equals national suicide. It remains a last resort neither side wants to reach, but if they go, then there will be direct impact on Kashmir, if targeted, as it has high chances of attack, because it has heavy military presence. It is not just about who presses the button, it is about who's left to live in the aftermath. If you like this video, then hit that share button and subscribe.